Africa, the world's second largest continent, is undergoing a transformation so massive that it could change global geography forever. A growing rift in East Africa is slowly tearing the continent apart, paving the way for the birth of a new ocean. Scientists estimate that in millions of years, a new body of water will form, separating parts of East Africa from the rest of the continent. But how did this process begin? What does it mean for the people living there? And how would the world be affected? This is the story of Africa splitting into two. But before we set the ball rolling, subscribe to the channel, like the video and share to your friends who don't know what's going on. And by watching the video till the end, you'll find out what is making Africa splitting and the damage causing. The Earth, rich in natural resources, vibrant cultures, and beautiful landscapes. Join me as we rover around with documentary stories and adventures. I got robbed and lost my equipment, but I am not giving up. These videos are just the beginning. Are you ready? You are now tuning into Tinkado.
Very good.
Okay.
So Ghana woman very good.
To understand this phenomenon, we need to look beneath the surface of the Earth. Africa sits on multiple tectonic plates, which are massive sections of the Earth's crust that are constantly shifting. The most important ones in this story are the Nubian Plate, which carries most of the African continent, and the Somali Plate, which is slowly breaking away. At the center of this plate is the East African Rift System, a vast crack in the Earth crust stretching over 3,000 kilometers from the Red Sea in the north to Mozambique in the south. This system is where the land is gradually pulling apart, a process known as rifting. As the plates move away from each other, magma from the Earth's interior rises, creating new crust and pushing the land apart. This is the same process that formed the Red Sea millions of years ago. If it continues, a new ocean could emerge, and the eastern part of Africa, including parts of Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, and Mozambique, could eventually become a separate landmass, much like Madagascar. While the movement of tectonic plates happens extremely slowly, just a few kilometers per year, some dramatic events have given us a glimpse of what's happening beneath Africa's surface. In 2005, a 56-kilometer-long crack suddenly appeared in Ethiopia's Afar region after a series of earthquakes. This was a clear sign that the land was stretching and breaking apart. In 2018, another crack appeared in Kenya's Rift Valley, splitting roads and forcing families to evacuate their homes. Some scientists believe this was caused by underground fault movement, showing that the process of Africa's split is actively occurring. Meanwhile, some of the world's largest volcanoes, including Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania and Eta Ali in Ethiopia, sit along the Rift Valley. These volcanoes are a direct result of the Earth's crust thinning, allowing magma to rise and escape through the surface. Their activity is further proof that East Africa is a region undergoing major geological changes. How long will it take for Africa to split? Well, the full separation of East Africa won't happen overnight. Geological processes take millions of years to unfold. Scientists estimate that it could take 5 to 10 million years before the rift fully opens up, creating a new ocean and officially breaking East Africa away from the continent. However, changes are already happening today. The land along the Rift Valley is sinking, lakes are expanding, and volcanic activity continues to shape the landscape. Africa's geological transformation is more than just a scientific phenomenon. It directly affects millions of people living in the region. 1. Infrastructure damage. As the land shifts, roads, bridges, and buildings can crack and collapse. The 2018 rift in Kenya disrupted transportation and forced communities to relocate. If similar events continue, governments will need to invest in new infrastructure to adapt to the changing landscapes. 2. Earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. Rifting is often accompanied by earthquakes and volcanic activity. The Afar region in Ethiopia experiences frequent tremors as the earth crust stretches. While these quakes are usually mild, stronger ones could pose risks to cities and villages in the future. 3. Water bodies expanding. Lakes in the Rift Valley are growing due to increased volcanic activity and ground subsidence, sinking land. This could reshape farming and fishing industries, forcing communities to adapt to new environmental conditions. 4. Long-term changes. Millions of years from now, East Africa could be an island surrounded by a brand new ocean. This will create new coastlines, changes weather patterns, and possibly introduce new species of marine life. Future generations may live in a completely different Africa than we know today. If the split continues, what will the world look like? Scientists predict that a narrow sea will first form along the rift, similar to Red Sea today. Over time, this sea will widen, eventually becoming an ocean. The Horn on Africa, including parts of Ethiopia, Somalia, and Kenya, will break away and become a separate landmass. East Africa's coastline will change. A new port could emerge where land once stood. This means that in the distant future, maps will look very different. East Africa may become the next Madagascar or even an entirely new continent. Africa's slow split is not just a regional event. It's a part of Earth's ever-changing geological history. Similar rifting processes in the past have led to the formation of new continents and oceans. For example, the Atlantic Ocean was formed when South America and Africa separated around 200 million years ago. The Red Sea was created by a rift between the Arabian and African plates, similar to what's happening in East Africa now. If Africa's rift continues, it will reshape global trade routes, biodiversity, and even human migration patterns in the far future. The slow but unstoppable splitting of Africa is a reminder that our planet is always changing. Although we won't be around to see the final transformation, the signs are already here. Massive cracks, volcanic activity, and shifting landscapes. One day, millions of years from now, a new ocean will stand where East Africa once was. It's a future we can't stop, but one we can observe as it unfolds. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and share this with someone who doesn't know what's happening beneath Africa's surface. And if you are curious about more incredible stories, check out this next video. I will see you there.